the reason why you're a thought leader is because you want to do stuff. You're passionate about things you want to achieve. And so by putting all of your ideas together and sharing those with other people, you help them achieve what they want to achieve, but usually it's reciprocal. So you're able to achieve your goals in less time, you're able to do it more effectively, and I think that's the real value to me for thought leadership.
One of the things that I think is a big opportunity here that gets passed up too easily is that if someone was to invite you to speak on stage at the centre of the AICD Directors Conference, almost every director would take that opportunity up without thinking about it. You're in front of thousands of people, you have the opportunity to talk about things that you're passionate about, that you can give back to the community, that you can educate about. But I would say LinkedIn is your opportunity to do that almost every week. You've got that same audience there. You can talk about the things that you're passionate about. You can do this on scale. You can do it 50 times a year. If you're passionate enough about something to speak about it at a conference, you should be publishing about it because you've got access to an audience now that is equivalent in LinkedIn to the audience that you will get through that conference.
Yeah. Look, I think you're so right, Steve. When you look at the posts that I've been putting up, we get 3,000 people read the article. 400, 500 watch the video. We can actually look at the analytics and we know that those 400 people, they watch 83% of the available minutes on those videos. So the level of engagement of people with the subjects you're posting is very high. So you can look at who's liking it, who's in your audience, and you can search and you can see that you've got thousands of AICD members are reading and participating, but of that, 350 are liking, sharing, and commenting. Over 100 people are commenting on some of the articles, and when you look at the comments, they're intelligent, they're well thought out. They haven't just, typed 20 or 30 words and hit enter. They're thoughtful reflections on the posts that you've provided, and that level of engagement with 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people is comparable to an article in the Australian Financial Review. When you look at how much people, how many letters to the editor do you get of the Financial Review? When you look at LinkedIn, you're getting hundreds of people making a substantial comment. It isn't just one way. People aren't just taking what you're broadcasting. They are thinking about it, reflecting on it, and contributing. And not just their words, they're providing links to other articles. They're sharing other newspaper articles that are pertinent to what people have said or what you've posted in the post.
It is leadership, really, in the definition, that you are leading a discussion that is important for the community. And I think often when we think about publishing and sitting down to write, it's a one-way conversation, when what you're doing here has much higher value than just throw and go opinions. It's discussion.
That's important, Steve, because when you look at trying to move the dial, in my case, I'm trying to get company directors to increase their capacity and their capability of making good technology decisions. And once those technology decisions are made, to then provide good governance of often, $100, $200 million decisions. Now, how do you do that? Yes, you can write an article, you can do short videos, but in fact, if I'm by myself, what's the chances of me by myself moving the dial? Almost zero. But if I can encourage other people to do what I'm doing, and we put together, when you look at there's 38,000 members of AICD in Australia. When you look at the ASX, there are thousands of company directors on ASX companies. And if we can pull from that community of thousands, if we can pull together, I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20 people that are deeply engaged on this subject that I'm excited about, if there's a broader group of maybe another 40 or 50, so maybe 100 people in total who have got something to offer, private information and collected, curated information that's pertinent and relevant, the right context for this discussion. If each of those participants develop their own channel and are putting things out and sharing it with the 2,000 or 3,000, 4,000 people that really want to make a change in the way in which technology is addressed, what's the chance of moving the dial then? That's high. And I think that's what excites me about this process of showing people how not only can you publish material, not only can you broadcast material, but you can narrowcast it to the right particular audience, but you can then encourage that audience to respond, so it's a two-way communication. But then you can really get some excitement because other people with expertise that is really relevant, they too can do what you're doing, and it's the intersection of those really informed views that helps everybody truly understand the complexities of the matters that we're confronted with.
So I really think people who should be considering building thought leadership on LinkedIn, you really need two things up front. The first is that you need something that you're passionate and an expert, an area that you're both passionate and an expert about. That often doesn't have to be the area that you first think. The narrower you can make that scope for expertise, if that's inbound M&A in Australia, great. If it's inbound M&A in Australia from Indonesia, even better. If you can get it down in scopes, it will be much easier to position yourself as a thought leader in that area. You've got less competition, you've got better ability to really build front of mind awareness. The second piece though is that you've got to be in this for at least the medium term. If you need results that are going to happen in a week or 2 weeks, this isn't the right strategy for you. There's an evolution, there's feedback that needs to come back to you from the market about how your expertise is positioned and received that does take time. So 3 to 6 months worth of publishing, taking feedback from the market and growing your results is kind of where you need to be in a time frame. So passion, expertise, and ability to invest over a kind of that medium-term time frame, I would say.
Yeah, look, Steve, I think as well as being passionate about it, having something to say, it's got to be relevant. You've got to have an audience that wants to access and listen to what you've got to say. And so if you don't already have some audience, if people aren't seeking out your expertise, that's an indication that maybe this is not something that you're going to be successful. Technology takes you for what you are and makes you more so.
I think the real benefit of using LinkedIn for someone who is just starting out in this space, has deep expertise, but has never really gone about publishing content before, the real benefit is LinkedIn is plug and play. You can write an article in Word, drop it in, and you can publish almost instantly. You've got all of the tools there that you need to publish very quickly, and you've got a network there of hundreds or even thousands of people, if you've got a large network, that will receive notifications that you've published.
It depends on where you've built your connections. I use LinkedIn for everything to do with business, and I use Facebook just for my very close personal friends and my local community in Wood End. For me, Facebook wouldn't be a great platform to go and share. LinkedIn is certainly, it is the business connection base of choice. So I think that a combination of both LinkedIn and Twitter is the way in which to build most things to do with business.
Yeah, look, I think the biggest benefit of LinkedIn, as we see it in working with clients, is that speed to launch to start with. Mm-hmm. It's the depth of content you can push onto that publishing platform that people, as you've seen, will actually read. Yeah. That on a lot of other platforms, your attention spans can be 20, 30 seconds at best. Whereas on LinkedIn, you've got 5-10 minute engagements with long form comments. So you've also got a really high quality of discussion. Yeah. that's almost unique on LinkedIn, the calibre of discussion that happens there. If you look through the articles versus articles published almost anywhere else, is generally deeper and better because people are aware it's publishing back to their network. Let's talk about the value for some of the organisations that you sit on boards of or represent of you doing this kind of activity. How have they seen value?
Look, I think because of the respect from the broader network, what I've noticed is that over the last couple of years, as I've built up a reasonably large LinkedIn set of connections, is that when we sit down in any of the companies, whether it be Redify or Tesserent, one of them being Alto or Folk, there's challenges. And when you look at getting something done, someone will say, gee, I wish we knew someone who would do X. And often I say, oh, I know someone who can do X. And I'll be able to reach out and connect them. But more often than not, I'll say, gee, I don't know someone who can do X, but gee, I do know a few people that I think might know someone who does X. And with one degree of separation, I've been amazed at how often we've been able to get to really important people who are relevant to what we're trying to do. And without that broader connection, and the value of LinkedIn is that when that person who doesn't know me but trusts someone that I trust, they can go and have a look at LinkedIn and they can see straight away the sort of things that we've been contributing to, the sort of things that companies that I'm on the board of are doing, and they feel comfortable about helping. And it's playing it forward.